Oh my gosh, what is going on? And welcome back to another video. We're gonna learn how to make this large asteroid that falls out of the sky and explodes, breaking into multiple pieces. You'll see it comes flying down to the Earth, and when it hits, we see pieces breaking off and then despawning. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what objects we have. We're gonna start by stopping the world so that way we can see all the objects. These three invisible objects are the different pieces that will break off when the meteor hits. This is the meteor itself. This is a teleport that tells these items to come back here when they're done being used. You'll notice that there is a starting point. This is our trigger, which is used for a starting point. This is our midpoint. And this is where we land. And you'll notice there's another trigger in here, as well as the visual effects that play when it hits. Well, how does this all work? Well, we start over here on the variables tab, and let's take a look and see. All these variables, we're going to start with several triggers. So trigger 1, trigger 2, and trigger 3. So that's your 1, 2, and 3 points of location. We also have piece 1, piece 2, and piece 3. So those are the 3 pieces of the meteor. We have time to approach. So that's how long it takes to get from point 1 to point 2. We have time to fall. So that's from point 2 to point 3. And then we despawn the pieces that have broken off after 2 seconds. We also have a scale variable. This is used in motion in the code. We have a wait before falling. So once it's fallen to Earth, broken into pieces, it then goes back up there and it waits 10 seconds before it comes back down again. And then we have the trigger, which is used for hiding the pieces. So that's what hides the pieces up there. And then we have the hit visual effects. So when it hits, that is when that visual effects goes off. So when the world is started, we're going to hide self. And this runs on the meteor. So the meteor is hidden. Then we set the scale to be the scale of self. So this saves it as a variable for us to use later. Remember the one I said that was in motion? And then we send event position 3 to self. So what is position 3? Well, this is position 3 is going to move to position 1 on self and the rotation of position 1. It's also going to scale the object down to half size. So we want the meteor to be half of its initial size because when it's approaching, you can't make it as far away as we'd like it to be, but you can scale it to make it visually feel like it's getting closer and faster than it is. And then we send event restart to self to wait before fall. So this is going to be for those 10 seconds because we're waiting before it comes back down. Then under restart, we show self, we send event position 1 to self, and if we come back up here to position 1, we'll see that when position 1, we move to trigger 2, we rotate to trigger 2 among time to approach, so that's that 30 seconds to get here, and that's on self because this is running on the meteor, and then we scale over time to the original scale over time to approach. So remember, we set scale up here, and now we're using it because we had just turned it to be half its size, and now it's full size. And then we send event position 2, and that's after time to approach. So once it's gotten to position 2, then we receive position 2, where we set the position of trigger 3 over time to fall. So this is over 3 seconds. It's going to move down really fast and hit the ground, and then it also rotates to the rotation of trigger 3. So you can rotate the meteor so it matches the rotation you're looking for. And that is happening on the meteor. Then, after that, we send event break apart to self after time to fall. And then we say, hey, we got to position 3, so we send event position 3. But we also go in here and we add a plus sign so we can add time to fall plus despawn after 2 seconds. Why? Because, as you'll see in position 3, we don't want this to move out of the way until time is up. And so we're going to wait to do anything until the despawn time's up. And break apart, now this is going to happen as soon as it hits. That's why we're using time to fall, because as soon as it gets here, we want this to happen. So if we roll down just a little bit further, you're going to see break apart. When that's received, we play visual effects. That's that explosion that goes off. We hide the asteroid or the meteor, and then we move to the position of self on piece 1, and then we show piece 1. Then we move to the position of self on piece 2. And then we show piece 2, move to position of self on piece 3, then show piece 3. And so this allows all 3 pieces of asteroid to be moved to the location where we've just arrived and we've just exploded. And then we send event despawn to self, and that will despawn after however many seconds we've set that to. So then under despawn, we just hide the pieces and move them back to that hide pieces trigger. So that moves them out of the way so you can't run into them and you don't have to worry about them being there. And it's pretty simple. So that is how we create the Meteor script. I'm just going to slowly scroll through this so that you can see it. Feel free to pause if you're working on the project here. And if you have any trouble or any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help. And then just a quick run through the variables again. So we've got our hit visual effects, so this is an object. Our pieces trigger is an object. Piece 3, piece 2, and piece 1 are all objects. Here we have a time, scale is a vector, despawn is a time, trigger 3 is an object, time to fall is a number, time to approach is also a number, and trigger 2 and trigger 1 are both objects. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help. Thank you so much for checking this out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Oops.